This is the new Ford Endeavour Sport Edition. Now it is essentially the same BS6 version of the car that was introduced earlier this year, but it now gets a fancier set of clothing. Now the proposition for the car hasn't changed at all, so it's still competition to the likes of the Toyota Fortuner and the upcoming MG Gloster, but few things have changed. So let me just read out the blacklist that Ford has sent for this particular car. Changes include smoked headlamps, black ORVMs, black grille, black fender grills, black front and rear skid plate, black roof rails, black alloy wheels, black inserts on the side steppers, and then when you move towards the rear, you've also got some black garnish on the tailgate. But what about the SUV otherwise? To buy or not to buy? Well, we haven't reviewed the BS6 Endeavour on the CarWale YouTube channel, so we thought this is a great opportunity to do just that. Here then are 5 things why you should buy the Endeavour and 2 why you might want to avoid. Now the Endeavour, it looks tremendous, at least to my eyes. It's big, it's burly, and it's still modern looking at the same time. And it's exactly what the doctor ordered for this class of vehicle. Now people don't buy full-sized SUVs in India because they can load it up and then drive into the wilderness as the crow flies. They buy it because they want to get noticed. They want to tell people that they've arrived. And now with these added black bits, I think the Endeavour has upped that noticeable quotient by a great degree. As for me, the things I like about the Endeavour, I like this high riding stance. I like the fact that it's actually a box but with well-rounded contours, and of course the sheer size of the thing. Modern, well-built, nice looking, feature-rich, spacious. That's how I would describe the Endeavour cabin to you. Now everywhere, everything that's been used, the quality of plastic, the finishes that have been employed, and even the way the dials, the buttons, the stalks that operate, there's a positive feedback to everything you touch and feel. So nothing feels cheap or flimsy in here. And there are a lot of, like I said, feature rich, and we'll just run you through the whole laundry list of features that the Endeavour comes with. The Endeavour Sport is identical to the Titanium Plus trim when it comes to features. So you get a multifunction steering that adjusts for rake, electric adjustment for both the front seats, multi-zone climate control system, a detailed driver information system with loads of info and adjustments to be had, and the multi-mode touchscreen system is quite elaborate in its functionality too. Additionally, you have one-touch operation for all 4 windows, rear aircon system, and armrest and cup holders abound. There are some nice feel-good features too. A panoramic sunroof, hands-free tailgate opening, parking assist, and in this 4x4 version, an elaborate terrain management system, which is a boon for noobs like us when we choose to go off-roading. Now the Endeavour also scores highly when it comes to space and seating comfort. So up front, the seats, they're large, they're supportive, they're nice and cushy, and they're also adjustable for 4.5 movement, they're adjustable for height, and of course the recline. The steering, however, it can only be adjusted for rake, but it's easy to find a nice driving position up front. Plus, you've got decent headroom, enough elbow room, even compared or when you're next to the occupant. It's a pretty spacious feeling cabin as well. Now, let's just step back and tell you what the second row is like. Now, getting in thanks to the side step is easy, and when you do, the seats here, you've got adjustable headrests. Seats again, like the front, they're decently large. Again, they're decently cushy and supportive, especially the backrest. And you can adjust it for recline, and you can also adjust it for 4.5 movement. And for the rear occupants, you get a separate AC unit with the fan and temperature setting. You've got lock unlock, which is very rare and extremely convenient thing to have. And yeah, the space wise, you can see there's lots of knee room, good amount of headroom, and again plenty of shoulder room. Now the last row, which probably is not the best place to be in when it comes to the Endeavour. Getting in is not as easy, and when you do, there is not enough room here. Now, just so you can see what the space is like, it's better, it's more visible. I'm just going to drop this seat and pull this one back. I don't know if you can see, but clearly, again, adjustable headrest, that's great. Headroom, not so much. Knee room, because this is adjustable, there is a little bit that you can have, and shoulder room for 2 people is just about okay. But you don't get a lot of thigh support, and there you can put your feet under the seat, but you've got the rails in between that come, so it's not a comfortable place to be for long distances. And the seats themselves are pretty slim, so not as comfortable as the front 2 row, but in a pinch you can use them. Now, early this year, Endeavour got a heart transplant. From the 3.2 diesel, it went to a 2-litre 4-cylinder diesel, which is what this car has as part of the BS6 update. And it's a smaller engine, it's a lighter engine, it's a more fuel efficient engine. But the output figures, the power and the torque aren't too bad. So you've got 170 horsepower, you've got 420 Newton meters of torque. And even though this is a heavy car, I think these output figures, along with the 10-speed automatic that this new car comes with, helps not just lug it around, but give it light feet, if you will. So it's very drivable in the city, it's very easy to overtake with on the highway. If you are just in a relaxed commute, 3 digits, easily done. So no issues there whatsoever. And it's a smart gearbox, this 10-speed, so it doesn't follow the regular convention of going from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and then back down. It's smart enough to pick the right gear for the right load conditions, for the right throttle input that you're giving. So for instance, we're at under 2000 RPM, 50 kilometers per hour, I stamp it, and the kick down is very quick because it's picking the right gear. It's not picking a gear that's too low, which means it doesn't get too loud, the RPM doesn't rise too much, you don't get that head nod. So in that sense, it's very smooth in the way it goes about its business. And even when you're accelerating, the shifts, you can hear them, but it's seamless, so it's barely, in terms of feel, they're not perceptible at all. And that overall adds to the Endeavour's luxurious or upmarket appeal in the driving side. The ride quality on the new Endeavour is easily one of its highlights. It moves a little from side to side and a bit front to back, but there's nothing alarming or uncomfortable about it. But on undulating roads, broken roads, bumpy roads and what have you, it never jolts its occupants and it doesn't throw them around as well. It's quite comfortable in that sense. In fact, it rounds the bumps and the potholes so well, even the scary looking ones, that you brace for it, but nothing really happens. It just glides over things, and it's quiet too is the ride. And the rear hop one used to get on the previous Endeavour is history as well. So not spotting a speed breaker isn't a problem anymore. The Endeavour has the ground clearance, it has the engine torque, and it has the wheel articulation to handle the rough stuff. Be it a bit of rock climbing, taking on gravel roads, or simply going up and down some slippery inclines, the Endeavour is clearly up to the task. Helping the SUV on off-road trails is the terrain management system. It has pre-programmed computer-aided modes that help deliver the most amount of traction to the Endeavour for a given surface or condition. The Endeavour is a large SUV, and that means be it driving it in the city, finding parking spaces or tackling narrow roads with oncoming traffic can be a challenging and at times an irritating task. The good news is the visibility all around isn't bad, even via the rear windscreen, and the steering on the Endeavour is light too. It doesn't require too many turns lock to lock either, and of course you have parking sensors and a reversing camera to help with all of this. Now, as it turns out, the engine is a positive as well as a negative for the Endeavour. Now, positive because It makes for seamless power delivery. It makes the Endeavour really drivable. It's also more efficient than before. But this engine does tend to get noisy. Now, when you are accelerating quickly and you're going through the gears, it's not that bad, and up to 2,500 RPM, of course, you can tell it's a diesel, but it's not that bad. But if it picks the third gear when you're just starting out, and then suddenly there's so much noise coming from the engine, and it gets to you after a while. Also, anything over 2,500 RPM, proceedings get quite noisy. And that's not that you need to go there often, but whenever, if you want to drive a little fast or if you want to make quick overtakes, that's the time when you feel, or that's the time when the engine shows its noisy roots. And that, for a car of this class, this money, this segment, you would have liked it to be slightly quiet. The top of the line Ford Endeavour 4x4 Titanium Plus retails for a little over 40 lakhs on the road. This one with its black bits would probably cost a little more than that. Its main rival, the Toyota Fortuner, also retails for around the same money, but the Fortuner gets a bigger engine. With that bigger engine, it makes more power, more torque. Even off-road, the Fortuner works better than the Endeavour. And then when you want to sell the car after 3, 4, 5, 6 years, the Fortuner will fetch you more money in the resale market. Having said that, the Endeavour has its own pluses as well. Take the ride. It's quiet, it's absorbent, it's comfortable, and then when you step inside, it manages to justify its over 40 lakh rupee price tag way better than the Fortuner. The seats are more comfortable, there's usable space, and then it has some really nice feel-good features. And then when you get on the road, the on-road dynamics for the Endeavour are again better than the Fortuner. So, should you buy the new Endeavour? We think so, because as an overall package, it is the best you can buy in that class.